Hello guys and welcome back again to another amazing episode. And as you guys already know, this is the diaspora transition episode. I love interviewing diaspora people who move back from the diaspora and currently living on the continent and doing some amazing things. And on this episode we have here someone very special. She goes by the name Abena. She moved from Canada and currently here in Ghana and doing amazing. You know, I've been trying to interview her for a time now, but finally I'm blessed to have her here on the show. So without further ado, Abena, welcome on the show.
Thank you so much.
And thank you for honoring my invitation. People are watching you for the first time from the diaspora all over the world. They want to get to know who you are. I know a little bit about who you are and your portfolio and what you're doing here. Can you briefly introduce yourself to people watching?
Sure. Hello, everybody. So thanks for the warm introduction. My name is Abena Addo. I moved to Ghana just about a year and a half ago, and I have a YouTube channel where I document my experiences living in Accra and also traveling the beautiful continent of Africa.
Yeah, I've seen your YouTube channel. I saw your vlogs with your dad, your journey. I think it's pretty interesting.
Thank you.
Now, I want to take you back a little bit, how everything started.
Yeah.
Now, don't judge me. By your accent, I'm like, you're not from here. Or you didn't grow up in Ghana.
No.
Right? When did you grow up? Why did you decide to leave Canada? It's the promised land.
Yeah.
I've been wanting to go to Canada for a long time. I didn't get it. My visa got rejected. I got India, and that's why. But you were born in Canada.
Yeah.
Grew up there. And you're like, nah, I don't want it. I'm going to Ghana, Africa. Why?
Yeah, well, I'm Ghanaian and Canadian, and I feel like because I grew up in Toronto, I came to Ghana for holidays, but I never really got to experience living in Ghana. It was always going to see this auntie, this uncle, and I just really wanted to see what it was like. And then during COVID, it was an interesting time, I think, for a lot of people.
Right.
So I was coming to visit my dad. So my mom and my dad were both trying to get me to visit them. And I was like, okay. And I decided to come see my dad. So I came, and my cousin is from London, and she was here as well. And everyone was really, motivating me to come. And then when I came here, it was the first time I spent months here. And I just fell in love with the people, the culture, and I was like, wow, there's so much I don't know, what I thought I knew. And so I want to take an opportunity to learn more, live here, and actually see what it would be like and understand my roots.
Wow. So your parents were in Ghana?
No, so my mom actually lives in the Caribbean.
Okay.
And my dad lives in Ghana. Well, my dad lives in Canada, but was in Ghana visiting.
At that time?
Yeah.
Okay. Wow. Now, what triggered that for you? Because most of the time I know living in Canada, there's so much responsibilities. You might be probably working.
Yeah.
How does that work to be like, oh, I just want to leave everything
Yeah.
all of a sudden just to go to the continent? How does that work?
So I was working in corporate. I'm an engineer, so I was working as a transportation engineer. I did that for 5 years with the Canadian government, and it was a fantastic job. It was great. I have no complaints. And I was working remotely when I first came here, so it was nice. You just have internet, you can work, and it's all good. But then I just kind of was thinking about, I don't know if I want to work there anymore. I don't know if I want to work for someone else. And so I actually left that job. Yeah. And I also have social enterprise. So I started a social enterprise in Canada 10 years ago, where we use sports-based tools of education to support kids, and then we help people with different entrepreneurship.
Really?
And so I still do that now, and I have a team of about 6 full-time and about 80 part-time. And so I'm able to support them remotely because it's my company.
Wow, that's
yeah,
80.
yeah,
Wow.
it's a big
Let's talk more about
operation.
it. How did it start? Tell me more about that.
Yeah.
Project.
So basically, when I was in university, I played basketball for my university.
Wow.
Both of them, yeah. So I was a varsity player. I was a captain of the University of Toronto. And so basketball and sports has just been part of my life ever since I can remember. And I didn't have a job when I was in university, and so I decided to start these basketball programs for kids. And that was in 2013, and it just blew up. So every summer we do programs for kids. Throughout the year we do different leagues. And then it turned into a lot more than just sports. So we do a lot of education, we do a lot of mental health, mental wellness.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow.
And
mental health?
Yeah.
Wow. And you started 10 years ago?
Yeah.
And there was mental health?
Yeah, exactly. Wow. And it's talking about wellness. A lot of people see sports and they say, okay, like, what do you do? Go to the NBA, go to the WNBA. But I say, no, like, the skills that you learn from sports can be transferred to every part of your life. And it's really important, I think, for kids to be exposed to that early on.
Interesting. Wow. Now, fast forward, you decided to leave that behind, leave engineering field, Now, before we move on, and I asked you why you came to Ghana, chose Ghana specifically. I know your family is here. Let's talk about engineering. You've been a woman and working in that kind of space.
Yeah, it wasn't easy.
I don't know, but did something trigger that for you? Like, what was the scenario?
So I worked, obviously engineering is male dominated.
Right.
In the West, I find it's very white male dominated, and it's a challenging place to be in.
Right.
And I was there, I was a senior there, so I had a really good title, but I still found it was like you're always fighting, you're always proving yourself. I'm the only woman, and then I'm the only black person, which is like just really challenging. Yeah, and it was just like every day you don't want to have these microaggressions and things that you're fighting for. And so part of what I want to do eventually in Ghana is, use my skills. It's a very specialized skill set, and I would love the opportunity to support Ghana with their transportation infrastructure. But what it was, I just felt like I was working for the government, and it was fine, but it's just not what I wanted. I didn't feel at home.
You felt limited.
Yeah.
Okay. Now, and that's why you chose Ghana and you moved here.
Yeah.
In Ghana, let's talk about you being on the continent, touching down for the first time. I know you moved back and forth because of your family, your dad here. But when you decided to be like, okay, I'm going to Ghana, I'm going to do this on the continent, contribute to the development, and you landed knowing that you're moving here full time.
Well, you know what? I didn't know I was going to move here. So what happened was I came just for a holiday, and then the Canadian government closed the borders, so I couldn't come back, and neither could my dad.
Wow.
So we both were sitting one day in the living room, and we just said, why don't we stay?
Wow.
And then I was like, I don't know, I never thought about staying. And then 6 months go by, and we just both decided. We shipped a container.
Wow.
And then and my dad retired and moved back as well.
Wow.
Yeah, he hasn't
retired
and moved back.
With you?
Yeah.
To Ghana?
Exactly.
Guys, that's impressive. Guys, that's amazing.
Yeah, and he hasn't lived in Ghana for 30 years.
And then he decided one day.
With me.
Wow.
And that's been probably a huge, Did he
do that for you?
Yeah, for sure. He didn't want me to be by myself.
Wow.
And it's just nice. And I feel like that time with family is just invaluable. And I'm so grateful for all of that and being able to share the time.
Let's talk about you being here, the challenges. Obviously, we do preach a lot because there's so much opportunities here on the continent and in Ghana. But I know a few people who moved back and then had to leave because there's the structures and everything.
Yeah.
Frustrating.
It can be, yeah.
You've been here for how long now?
Just under 2 years.
Under 2 years.
Yeah.
I know you've seen the ups and downs and everything. What have been some of the challenges you've been through so far? Trying to,
So I think having a home here is very expensive and very challenging to maintain. So I'm learning that. I would say the roads are a challenge. And what I don't think is a challenge, but what I think other people might think is just the cultural differences. So, a lot of relaxing and not as much go. I think it's actually a positive thing because I don't
enjoy it,
I enjoy it. Like, you need to understand it to enjoy it, and I can understand why it's frustrating for a lot of people. But if you understand how it works, you're kind of not really expecting certain things. And I don't think you could come with an expectation of how things are in Canada or the US.
I think it would be the same if you want things to move like it is in Canada. It will probably have the same frustrations, anxiety, depression that comes with it.
Yeah.
So I think it's probably better.
Yeah, it's way better. It's way better.
So you're enjoying it?
Yeah.
Wow. Well, let's talk about your YouTube a little bit. And, where do you see yourself, doing content? Because you've traveled to Kenya, you've traveled to other places, you've traveled in Torrey. What plans do you have on your YouTube channel for those watching who want to follow your lifestyle? What's the impact on it?
Well, it started about my life in Accra. I think a lot of people told me to start it. Mostly it's nice for me to keep in touch with my family in Canada because they want to know what I'm up to, my friends, and it's a great way to show everyone what I'm doing. So just my day-to-day life, people seem to be interested in it. I also really want to travel all the different regions in Ghana. And so making an effort to research and go and do all those things. And then traveling Africa, I think, something that I've learned is that this is a beautiful continent that doesn't get shown
a lot of publicity.
At all. Yeah, exactly. And I have people back in Canada who'd be like, oh, like, where do you live? Do you live, like, do you have electricity? Do you have this? And I'm like, are you guys serious? Like, open a book, go on YouTube. And so I thought the YouTube stuff is a good opportunity for me to showcase what I love about Ghana and what I love about the continent. And it's a good way to motivate me to travel different places in Africa. I mean, I was going to Europe all the time, and I'm like, why am I going to Europe, you know? But that's what people show you. And so I kind of want to make an opportunity to show Africa and travel all the different places here. So I've done South Africa, Kenya. I'm going to do Sao Tome soon.
Sao Tome?
Yeah.
Oh, it's beautiful there.
Yeah, and I really want to do Namibia, Tanzania. So there's a lot on my list.
We will do them together. I want to go there too. Wow. So you made mention of how friends were saying, are you going to have electricity? The misconception they had. When you told them, listen, I'm moving to the continent, what was some of the things they said to you?
Well, it was mostly like, are you sure? What are you going to do?
Right.
But I think a lot of my friends know I'm very, I have a lot of adversity, and so I'm able to kind of put myself in different situations and figure it out. And I think that's probably, if I had to define how my life's been the last 2 years, it'd be just figuring it out. I didn't really have any friends when I moved to Ghana.
Really?
Yeah, because I only ever came for holidays, so I was just going out, meeting people, networking, and I've been able to meet some really amazing people who've turned into great friends. Yeah.
I like that. Now, let me ask you this, okay? People are watching from the diaspora. They are contemplating on moving back, right? Let's give a message to them. Do you think it's a good decision for someone to be like, okay, I want to come to the continent? Like our forefathers did, they moved to Canada, US, didn't know anybody there, settled down, worked their whole life, established some amazing thing back home. Someone is thinking of moving from Canada. They might be Black Canadians, not like with an African direct descent, or what is it called? They don't have any family members. They want to move back. Do you think it is something that somebody should give it a shot?
I think it's important to understand where you come from. And if you spent your whole life not knowing, I think Ghana is so rich with culture and with history. It's an amazing place to learn and understand where your ancestors might have come from and the rich culture that Ghana contributes to the rest of the world. I think living here has its challenges, and there needs to be a lot of research before you just get up and move. I think, you know, making sure you have the financial resources to do that as well. It's not just like, you can't just convert to Canadian and think it's going to be fine. Like, it's actually can be quite expensive if you're trying to live up to the same lifestyle that you used to. But all that to say, I think it's an amazing place to come, live, explore. And if you have, you know, an adventurous personality and you're open to new challenges, I would say for sure.
Wow. Now, you think business here in Ghana is what do you think about business here in Ghana?
So
like, honest opinion, like for real, honest opinion.
I'm learning it's a lot to, you need to understand, you need to know a lot of people, a lot of important people. Things are very expensive doing business here. There's a lot of volatility because the economy can change overnight. But I think in general, there's a system here that does and can work. You just need to figure out that system.
So you believe it's possible to make it here?
For sure. Like I'm doing a few business ventures, a few real estate things, and, you know, good opportunities that have come my way. And I think you can, but you need to have a personality for like adversity, because you can't just like go, you know, go to the
Let's talk about
office.
The businesses that you're doing here.
Yeah.
Do you mind?
Yeah.
Okay, so what kind of business have you engaged in, and how is it turning out so far?
Yeah, so mostly just around real estate. So I've been a lot of educational kind of conferences, figuring out how things work. So I've done a lot of research to understand, you know, how the land, traditional versus the government, how it works, the freehold versus lease. So getting into that and purchasing property to develop, that's kind of one of the things that I'm doing. And then looking outside of Accra as well for different land opportunities. Wow. Yeah, and I think real estate is very safe. So it's something that I'm not really an expert in, but I'm taking advantage of opportunities. Yeah.
So 2 years, so far so good.
So far, so good, yeah. I mean, I'm not going to say it's perfect.
Because I think people don't know anything about real estate and they want to do it. They want to move back. If someone like that have a question and they want to reach out to you for clarities and
I'm not an expert, but you definitely can.
Yeah.
I mean, learning how the system works is a big breakthrough, right? Because it's not the same. Mortgage rates are different.
Right.
You know, things are just different here, and you need to understand how it works.
Okay. You do have a positive view of Africa. You're very optimistic. You believe it is possible to make it here. African youth are most often saying like, I don't think I'll be able to make it on the continent. You know, I want to go to the US, UK, and then seek greener pastures. I want to go to the paradise. If you do have a message for those Africans on the continent, what would you?
I think people have this perception that it's so amazing
Right.
elsewhere, and I think no matter where you are, it's like you want to be in this place. Canadians want to be in Ghana,
Right.
Ghanaians want to be in Canada, and I think it's just important to do research and understand what it's actually like, right? Like immigrant parents, my families, it wasn't easy for them. It wasn't, you know, a walk in the park, and there's a lot of challenges being a minority in somewhere like Canada and the US, and racism and discrimination, like that's a huge thing that eats at you slowly. And even, you know, being biracial, I experience that all the time, and so, and you know, it's worse for other people as well, and it's important to acknowledge that and understand that, and what that actually is like can be, it's not positive at all, and I think it's important to understand
you want to
that.
talk about it, more details?
Well, we can.
What were some of the things that really kind of bothered you a lot being a biracial, living in Canada, racism, and also even when you moved back here because there's this upbringing thing.
Yeah.
Into that.
So I think that it's interesting because in Canada, like, I just am black.
Right.
And some people who are biracial are kind of like, no, I'm mixed, and I've always just grown up in a way where I'm very clear with who I am.
Right.
And everyone has always seen me that way, and that's just kind of how I've been treated. And you know, there's microaggressions about your hair, your family, everything, what you do, where you go, and it gets tiring. And in Ghana, it's interesting as well because all your life you say, oh, I'm Ghanaian or I'm black, and you come here and people call you white, and you're like,
But how does that make you feel when you hear
I think I understand it, right? I'm not going to be defensive or, you know, from the Ghanaian's perspective, I'm not from here. I didn't grow up here. And yeah, I have Ghanaian heritage, but I don't know what it's like to be Ghanaian born and raised. And I'm not going to fight someone and understand that. But I do like to say, okay, I'm not overly, like, I'm not white.
But you feel accepted though.
Yeah, well, I understand it, right? And you can't fight, right? You just need to understand. And I think my whole thing is learning and living to understand, not change or challenge.
Okay, I like that. I've seen a lot of people moving back, which is a good thing. You know, from the US, most especially, and then they come with America's doomed. What is happening in the West, and why are people flooding? You know, is it so important for people to like move back to the continent?
Yeah,
I don't live there, so I don't know.
Yeah, I think again, understanding your heritage. I think Black Americans have a very different experience than Canadians. So a lot of Canadians are immigrant families, so you know where your parents came from. A lot of Jamaicans, a lot of Ghanaians, Nigerians, but a lot of Black Americans, right? They're generationally American,
Right.
And so a lot of times they don't know where their roots are, and I think that's why there's this huge interest in understanding where they come from and understanding their culture. As much as there's Black American culture, I think they want to know deeper and like where their ancestors are from.
Okay. Wow, but you're privileged. You know where you came from.
Yeah, exactly.
Now you said a lot about your dad, but your mom, you moved back with your dad. Where is your mom?
Yeah, so my mom lives in the Caribbean. Yeah, so she's.
Is she going to come back?
I'm trying to get her to come. She's
Okay.
really interested. She hasn't been back for over 15 years.
Really?
Yeah, but she will come back. She loves
Okay.
Ghana. And I actually got my brother here who hasn't been here in 16 years.
Really?
So he's visiting me for Christmas, which is
Wow.
really, really nice.
Wow, that's
yeah.
amazing. If you do have a message for your mom, what would that message be?
Love you, Mom.
We are almost at the end of the conversation. I have so many questions for you,
Yeah.
but time might not permit us. Guys, if you're watching, she's Abena. She do have a YouTube channel, and she's doing amazing. She's documenting her journey, her experiences, the challenges sometimes, you know. So if you do want to check her out, the name will be on the screen and also in the description. Go and check that out. Now, I want you to advise the diasporans. Give them probably 2 advice that you learned or what you've learned so far within 2 years that you've been on the continent. Give that to the diasporans who are willing to move back or who are contemplating to move back.
Yeah. So the first thing I would say is try. I would say try it out for a month or 2, maybe 3 months, see if you like it. I would say do your research before you come and kind of let go of all the expectations. This isn't Canada, this isn't the US, this isn't the UK, it's Ghana. And there's a lot to love about Ghana, but you need to figure it out for yourself. And you can't always come with these expectations that things are going to be a certain way. But it's a beautiful country, and it's a beautiful continent, and I just encourage everyone to come and see it for themselves.
Okay, will you say you moving back to the continent has been worth it for you?
Has been what?
Worth it for you?
Yeah, for sure. I have no regrets. I have been the happiest I've been in my 20s. Like, I haven't been this happy, and I just feel a different level of freedom and at home that I've never felt before. And so for those reasons, I
like that.
I'm here to stick it out.
I like that. Now, before I let you go, if I don't ask you these questions, my audience they will beat me in the comment section. Okay, they love relationship topics. They're like always ask your guests about their relationship status. How is dating scene in Africa like? You know, we were at Afrochella yesterday and we were asking some females some questions. Do you think it's possible to fall in love with a Ghanaian man and actually get married here? And the answer is pretty interesting.
Yeah, I think people need to be open-minded. I think you need to do your research as well, right? Like, you know, it's a new country. You are different, so you need to do your research before you get into anything serious. But I definitely think it's possible. Ghanaian men are amazing, and if they're anything like my dad has been such an amazing father figure my entire life. Him and my mom had a great marriage, and it's just, I've always had a positive look on Ghanaian men.
So it's true that Ghanaian men are the most faithful in the whole of West Africa?
I don't know about that. I don't know about that, but I mean, I'm going to keep my hopes out.
Thank you so much for talking to me. What's the socials for those who want to reach out to you, your Instagram?
Yeah, so you can check me out on YouTube, Abena Addo, see all my Accra content, all my Ghana content, and my IG is AbenaXA as well, so hope to see you guys there.
Okay, your final message. I asked you to send a message to the diasporans, but if you do have a personal final message for those watching, what would that personal message be?
I guess it would just be to go, I mean, it sounds a bit cliche, but go for what you want in life and never kind of look back or let anything stop you. I think the last 2 years I've just been going for exactly what I want, and I haven't looked back since, so.
Okay.
Yeah.
Are you single?
That's right.
Guys, thank you so much for watching. This has been an amazing episode. That answer, if you want to find out, slide in the DM. All right, thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you.